Welcome back. It is 6:21. We've been talking about the planned protest scheduled for later on this evening to begin at 5 o'clock in Huntsville at Big Spring Park, and about some possible concerns also over social distancing involving those who attend.
The local chapter of the NAACP is hosting this evening's event at Big Spring Park. Joining us right now live via Zoom is the president of the Huntsville Madison County NAACP, Mr. Jerry Burnet. Mr. Burnet, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Now, a few days ago, you and I were talking about this yesterday. We saw mostly a peaceful protest on Monday. Then it kind of turned a bit violent at the end. What are your expectations for this particular protest that starts this afternoon?
Well, we are trying all we can to avoid any violence on the unrest. We have people in place that would be on the lookout to any troublemakers, and we will try to keep things under control.
Mr. Burnet, we hear from some protesters saying that talk is one thing, they want to see action. What kind of action, in your opinion, should be taken in the wake of the death of George Floyd and where we stand right now as communities across the country?
I think the action that they're referring to is that we'd like to see those involved in the killing of Mr. Floyd held accountable. All that was involved. There was other officers that were taking part in it who have, to my knowledge, not yet been held accountable for their actions. And we would like to see those officers held accountable for their actions as well.
Do you think, from an organizational standpoint, the NAACP and what you folks have been doing for years and years now, do you think that this calls for some new changes in whether it be police policy or anything like that, maybe more community involvement, if you will?
Of course, I think that it would be beneficial that we have a complete overhaul of the justice system and to make sure that everyone is treated fair under the system. From what we see now, there are two different systems, one for white Americans and another one for Americans of color, because there's always been a difference in it. And we want to see a change at that level.
Mr. Burnet, these conversations are difficult to have. How kind of frustrating or just sad is it that we're back here having to force these conversations that, quite frankly, can be very difficult to have with one another?
It's always difficult when you one has been held at a disadvantage and they want to be treated fair. And sometimes people can do wrong for so long until they think doing wrong is fair. And it reflects in the criminal justice system. The people of color have been mistreated and treated unfairly down through the years. You know, like coming out of slavery and during the Reconstruction years, it was not uncommon that black people was killed for literally nothing. You know, it's just that it's been a way of life for the past 400 years that black people and other people of color have been treated less than human.
About today's protest, Mr. Burnet, there are some medical officials that are a bit concerned about large gatherings like this one, especially during the pandemic and social distancing. Do you share those concerns? What's your message for those attending today?
Our message is that we want people to observe the distance as much as possible, which I know that'll be difficult, but we want to encourage them to make sure that they wear masks, and as often as can try to keep their hands clean.
Indeed. Well, we appreciate you joining us this morning, the president of the Huntsville Madison County NAACP, Mr. Jerry Burnet. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you for the honesty and the frank discussion this morning as well.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, sir. It is 6:26 right now on your Wednesday morning.